One of the first things to come to mind when I think of my weird taste in video games is Command & Conquer Renegade, a first-person shooter put out in 2002 by the same company that created Dune, Red Alert, Tiberian Sun, and, obviously, Command & Conquer. Now, it didn't do too well at the time. Lots of critic reviews gave it 7s, 7.5, and its online servers didn't last too long. I feel the game deserves a lot more recognition than it gets, so let's dive in and see why I think this game is fantastic. If that set of intro movies didn't hype you up for this game, you might want to check your pulse. After that amazing intro, you're brought to the menu screen with a slew of options. Single player is an obvious start, and from there you have, well, I guess technically 3 options, but load game doesn't really count. So you have 2 options. You can start the tutorial or start a campaign. If you've played any first-person shooter since Half-Life, you probably don't need to play the tutorial, other than maybe the mechanics for the vehicle, but it's pretty similar to like Battlefield. So it's, so far as learning how to play the game, it's not really that big of a deal. However, if you don't play it, you miss out on some of these amazing one-liners.
Watch what happens when I shoot you.
Hey, is that necessary? As long as you're not gonna shoot me again.
Your health meter is full again. Now watch your health and armor meters again.
You wanna cut that out?
That's the last time. Honest.
You can squish infantry units with some vehicles. Here are some targets for you to practice squishing.
Next, let's take a look at the single player.
What are we looking for again?
An imaginary base.
Quiet.
Exactly. It's too quiet.
My radar's acting up. It's this terrain.
Recon 1, this is Eagle Base. What's the delay up there?
Copy, Eagle Base. Still no sign of any node installation.
Stay loose. Keep your eyes open.
Eagle Base, under heavy fire. Request immediate reinforcement. This is Recon 1. We're taking fire. We're taking
Hang in
fire.
there, Recon 1. We're sending a commando.
Clear!
Sounds like they're still in trouble, sir.
Saddle up. Let's move. Stay low.
Up there! Sniper!
The first level starts right off the bat with some action, which helps get the adrenaline pumping, preparing you for the rest of the game.
We lost our APC.
They're dropping more troops!
Good work.
Thanks, Havoc. We owe you big time. Recon 1 to Eagle Base. We're taking casualties, but we're okay.
Copy that, Recon 1. Make your repairs and prepare to move out.
Stand by for repair.
Havoc, you are go to proceed with the mission.
Your tank is repaired and ready to roll, sir.
Take Recon 1's tank. You'll need it.
SAM site destroyed. SAM site destroyed.
This is Eagle Claw 1, starting attack run.
This is Eagle Base. I'm not risking any more pilots. We have a GPS lock on the Nod installation. Prepare for ion cannon strike.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The Nod base is down. Good job, Havoc. The base computers should contain a wealth of intelligence data. Mission accomplished.
Once you successfully fended off the Nod soldiers and made your way to the Nod base and taken it out, you'll then be greeted by what is, in my opinion, a fantastic full-motion video.
Where's my medal?
I'm a Brigadier General, Havoc. The least you can do is call me Sir.
You got it, sir.
We cracked the encryption on the intel you acquired. It details Nod troop movements in 4 sizes. Generally, unremarkable information. But this is something special. As you know, Nod has a Special Forces division of elite assassins called the Black Hand. This is a covert communique detailing 2 top-secret Black Hand operations. The first is in Guatemala. The second is in the remote agricultural area we're approaching. Details are sketchy at best. Nod forces are herding civilians into religious conditioning camps.
Torture and brainwashing.
No doubt. After processing, they're being escorted by the Black Hand to an undisclosed location. We launched an assault on the area 2 hours ago. It failed. We'll have reinforcements for our support craft in 6 hours.
They're torturing civvies. We can't wait 6 hours. Let's roll!
6 hours, Captain. Until then, you'll stand down. I won't have you risking multi-million-dollar equipment on any of your impulsive gung-ho tactics. You're part of a team, Havoc. It's time for you to start acting as such. Are we clear? Are we clear?
Crystal. Sir.
Get General Shepard on the line. We need those reinforcements yesterday. Status report.
General, we have a situation. It's Captain Parker, sir.
Havoc?
He's liberated a hovercraft, sir.
Launch our remaining support craft.
Sir?
You have your orders, Lieutenant. If he survives, I'll pin a medal on him. Then, I may have him shot.
Now, it's not classic Command & Conquer full motion video using live action, and it doesn't have quite as much cheese as the old ones do, but it's still pretty cheesy.
From God to Cain to Seth. I am his right hand.
But that's a good thing. I think we use cheese too often to mean bad when it really just is a specific type of writing and acting, and it's not always bad. To explain a little bit of the story that's going on, you are Captain Nick Parker, codename Havoc, who's styled similarly, though not identically, to the commando unit from the original Command & Conquer. You're the guy who they call when they need to blow stuff up, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that needs to get blown up. Second level is much more of a typical introductory level, teaching some more of the basics that neither the tutorial nor level 1 really covered, such as secondary objectives, destroying buildings, kind of that stuff.
Node structure destroyed.
Moving through the story, it hits a lot of the wonderful things you would expect from action flicks, sci-fi romps, and Westwood Studios. Lots of really funny one-liners like we saw in the tutorial. Here's a good selection of them.
Miss me?
Not at this range.
Cow.
Pig.
No. Cow.
A sexy antagonist and who in some ways reminds me of Xenia Onatopp from GoldenEye.
Still pissed?
Nah, but I do have to kill you. Part of the job, you know.
References to previous Command & Conquer games. And lots of death screams. If you've played any of the Westwood real-time strategy games before, you'll recognize these death screams. So there are 12 total levels, and many of them feature what you came for. Blowing up buildings and shooting people. Enough just talking about the game, let me give you my honest review of the actual single player. And then we'll get to multiplayer. I really enjoy the single player. The guns you get to use have a fantastic feel. There's enough going on visually and with the sound design that your interest is kept. With decaying health bars, lots of explosions, satisfying weapon sounds, and those death screams. The missions have enough variety so as to not get boring. There are times where you're completely on foot in a dense city, some where you're in an open space of vehicles, and some close quarters interior missions where that flamethrower comes in handy. The story's fun, not too serious. As far as I know, it's still canon within the Command & Conquer universe, but to be fair, this was probably the last Command & Conquer game that was actually good, so the canon is not super important. So yeah, I have a lot of really good feelings about this game. Is there anything I didn't like? Yeah, there was some problems. Biggest issue is the AI. There's just so many times that the enemies would run right past me and stand there until I either had them completely dead or I hit them enough to get their attention. There's also a couple times where there's a sudden ramp in difficulty, and then it comes back down to a reasonable level. Conversely, there are some times where the difficulty goes way down and it's trivial, though this tends to be more rare. Okay, and then there's the issue of the graphics. There's not too many issues, but there's a couple things that are just kind of weird. Most of them I could probably chalk up to modern hardware not playing nicely with some of the older software. But I think that this is something that probably existed in the original game, and it looks really bad. There are a couple other things that I don't really remember happening when I played this when I was younger, but again, like I said, it's probably due to modern hardware playing with old software. I would give the single-player campaign a rating of probably, I'd say 8 out of 10. Pretty good, worth your time. Not the best first-person shooter campaign I've ever played, but it's worth playing.